And then the fifth and final example is the battle we just went through over Obamacare. Now, if you read the New York Times, well, that's your first problem. But if you read the New York Times, they will tell you that this battle accomplished nothing. Let me tell you, I think collectively we accomplished a great deal. One of the things we accomplished in the fight over Obamacare is that we elevated the national debate over what a disaster, what a train wreck, how much Obamacare is hurting millions of Americans all across this country. You know, this bill is called the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, but it doesn't provide protection. It's not affordable, and it's denying care to millions. The one word in the title that's true is patient, because if you log on to the website, you've got to be very patient. But collectively, millions of Americans have made the case that Obamacare quite simply isn't working, that it's the #1 job killer in this country, that it is causing millions of Americans to lose their job. Young people coming out of school are not finding jobs right now because of Obamacare. Single moms all across this country are being forced to work part-time, trying to feed their kids on 29 hours a week because of Obamacare. Hardworking families who are struggling to provide for their children are getting skyrocketing health insurance premiums because of Obamacare. And people all over this country right now are getting notifications in the mail that their health insurance is being canceled because of Obamacare. Now, as a measure of just how far we collectively have elevated those arguments, how many of y'all saw the season premiere of Saturday Night Live this year? The opening skit was a 3-minute skit on what a disaster Obamacare is. HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius went on Jon Stewart's comedy show. If you haven't seen it, go Google it. He ripped her apart. Jon Stewart asked her, the president's given an exemption for big business for a year. Why not give a delay to hardworking Americans? That's a liberal comedian on television making that argument. And by the way, making it to a whole bunch of viewers who would pretty much never listen to Republican politicians talking to them. That's a sign of what we accomplished elevating the debate. But secondly, what else did we do? We energized the grassroots. In the course of just a few weeks, over 2.1 million Americans signed the national petition at don'tfundit.com. You know the hashtag MakeDCListen? The hashtag MakeDCListen has been tweeted over 1 million times in the last 30 days.
Talks about wanting to win elections in 2014.
Particularly in an all-year non-presidential year, nothing matters more than an energized and active and vocal grassroots America. That's how you win elections. But third, we made Democrats take a lot of stupid votes. Let me highlight one in particular. Every single Democrat in the U.S. Senate voted against eliminating the congressional exemption from Obamacare. Now, I got to tell you, the polling on that, over 90% of Americans disapprove of that exemption. Over 70% of Democrats say they would vote against a senator who voted to keep a special exemption for themselves that wasn't given to the American people. And yet when the House of Representatives passed a continuing resolution funding the government and repealing that exemption, Harry Reid marched all 54 Democrats off that cliff. By the way, the language in Obamacare that subjects members of Congress to the same rules on the exchanges that the people who are stuck with it are facing, it won't surprise anyone in this room that that language is known as the Grassley Amendment. And I promise you, come October and November of 2014, we're going to see TV commercials all over this country of Democrats who voted to give themselves a special exemption from Obamacare their constituents don't get, and there are going to be some Democratic members of Congress and of the Senate who are going to suddenly be experiencing the joys of the private health care system. But the fourth benefit is we demonstrated the power of what the people, what the grassroots could do. You know, just a few months ago, all of official Washington scoffed that the grassroots would rise up. Then we saw 2.1 million people signing the petition at don'tfundit.com. Official Washington scoffed that the House of Representatives would vote to fund the federal government and to defund Obamacare. And then the House of Representatives, exercising a profile in courage, stood strong and listened to the American people and led the fight.